Hi, we're Mawmaw and Pawpaw.
We're here to pick you up. You're not going to believe what just happened.
Hold on, let them get in the car.
Oh my goodness, but I've got a story for you.
Stick around to the end. You gotta hear this.
Oh yes.
Howdy, friends. Mawmaw and Pawpaw back for another ride.
Thanks for coming back to hang out with us again.
Yeah, our first episode was a blast. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yes, we had so much fun. Oh, but we have so much to tell you.
I know. I'm having to quench her excitement a little bit. I know we've promised to share some huge news with you, but we've also made other promises, so we've got to go in order here. We're going to save the best for last, okay?
Okay.
We've agreed.
All right. Are we to the end?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Remember, we've made promises that we're going to go through the logo and tell all the stories of each of those little elements.
You're right.
And then we've got several adventures that we've had since we've talked to y'all last.
That's true.
So let's just do them in order. Again,
Okay.
saving the best for last. Stick around. You're gonna love this huge story. All right. So to begin, let's just start with the logo. For those of you joining us on YouTube, here's a picture of the logo. And for everyone else listening to us, it's the same logo that brought you here to us.
Yeah.
It's the little icon on the podcast.
Yep. It says "Catch a Ride with Mawmaw and Pawpaw" with the orange car,
Full of people.
Yep. That's our logo.
All right. So let's start with Penny. Tell us, how did you come up with this logo? Tell us these stories.
Okay, so first we're going to start with the font, and the font is basically the text, what the text looks like. Okay. So I usually go through a list of fonts, searching, looking for the perfect.
It usually is like the longest thing.
Yeah, the longest part of the process is finding the perfect font for that business, that speaks the business's, name, you know what I mean? So after, looking and not finding anything that remotely jumped out at me that says "Catch a Ride with Mawmaw and Pawpaw," our oldest daughter, Shelby, suggested that have our grandchildren write it out. I was like, wow, that is a great idea. Because, without them, we wouldn't be Mawmaw and Pawpaw, right? A perfect way to pull them into our podcast and everything. So we did just that. Adeline, our oldest granddaughter, she's 9. She wrote out "Catch a Ride with," so that's her actual handwriting. "Catch a Ride with."
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. And I didn't coach her in any way on how to write it. That style that she wrote it in, it was just perfect. I couldn't have asked for her to do it a better way. And then our grandson, August, who actually named us Mawmaw and Pawpaw, wrote out "Mawmaw and Pawpaw." So that was pretty neat too. So it looks like it's been written by a couple of grandkids.
Because it actually was.
It is, exactly. So it is perfect.
Suits our genre very well.
Oh yeah.
A couple of grandparents, hip grandparents.
Hip grandparents, yes.
Using
Don't forget
their
that.
using their grandkids.
Yep. So
Even in the logo.
Even in the logo, our grandkids have a hand in it. So that's how the font came about. "Catch a Ride with Mawmaw and Pawpaw" is written out by our grandbabies. So then the next thing I think to talk about would be the orange car.
Yeah, it stands out like a sore thumb, no?
Doesn't it? So why would I pick an orange car for a logo? Well, that's a good question, Charlie.
Oh yeah, that's my line.
I'm just teasing. But anyways, we actually drive a burnt orange Dodge Caliber, so that's why I picked an orange car for the logo. We actually picked up the car in Buffalo, New York.
We got it just so Penny would have something exclusively DoorDash. At the time, we weren't doing rides yet.
Right.
We were just doing deliveries.
Yeah, we had no idea the adventures we were going to be taking
Right.
when we bought this car.
But it turned out to be a great. It's one of those colors that has to grow on you.
Yes.
Penny rejected it.
I wouldn't even look at the car at first.
Right.
Because it was
orange.
It's orange.
Right. But it grew on you.
Orange.
And now that we're giving rides, it actually.
It's perfect.
It's perfect because we can just tell people, just look for the orange car.
Yeah.
There's
that's
not
us.
many of them.
Yeah, not a whole lot. Yeah. So that's why there's an orange car that in the logo, because that's what we drive.
Right. So that's the outside elements.
Right.
We got the font.
Mm-hmm.
We got the big car.
Right.
But then inside the car is where the stories really get started.
Yes.
Tell us about what's going on there inside.
Okay, so first thing you'll notice is Mawmaw and Pawpaw, and we're each wearing a design that I made. I'm sporting a T-shirt that honors God but pays tribute to Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. I like that's what we're wearing
Yep,
right now.
I am, but you can't see it. So,
and check it out on our Etsy page though.
Yep, sure
Local
can.
Creations DPD.
Yep. And you're wearing also a design that I made for Team Fidelis, which is a nonprofit
veterans
organization that I designed for, and we'll have links to them at in the bottom. But once you get past us, the Mawmaw and Pawpaw, that's where the stories start to really come to life.
Okay.
So right behind Charlie is Nancy. And if you caught our first episode, you heard the whole story about Miss Nancy, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a recap, okay? So Miss Nancy was pretty much the reason we decided to do Catch a Ride from Mama. Well, the reason we decided to do, she's what inspired us to do picking up people.
Right. Yeah.
Basically.
We expanded the riding because of her, and
right.
The reason we started this podcast was based on the experiences we had giving rides. So you could say that Miss Nancy kicked all this off.
Yeah. Miss Nancy is definitely one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing now.
Right.
And she had a walker, and she needed help. And at the end of the night, basically our ride with her, it made her day. And
what she said.
Yeah.
That's what made us.
And
realize
that's what
this
made
is
us.
More than just a gig. We're actually helping people.
Yeah, we're serving one another, and all we had to do was provide kindness to her, and that was just so. Of course, I have to include Nancy in our logo because she's really, man. After visiting with her, that's what we decided we wanted to do. So, but
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, so she has to be part of our
logo. Then there's another person back there. Right behind you.
The boy. Yes, the boy from Mexico.
Actually, he was full grown.
Okay, to be fair, he is a full-grown man, but in his 20s probably. But here's the thing. If you're young enough to be one of our children, you're going to be a boy in our story.
Yeah.
So that's how that's going to work.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this boy gets into our car, and he's from Mexico, and he does not speak a lick of English, and of course we do not speak a lick of Spanish.
Poquito?
Yeah, I speak even less than that of Spanish. But he did not let that
deter him
at all whatsoever. He took it upon himself to break down our cultural barrier. He pulled out his little phone, and he had this little translator app that he would speak into, and it would translate it into English to us, and then I could speak into it, and it would translate it into Spanish for him.
It was the coolest thing.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. We were able to carry on a conversation for that entire 10-15-minute ride, and neither of us spoke the other person's language. It was
Hey, if
phenomenal.
y'all know what that app is, please let us know.
Yeah,
we could use
comment. I loved it. But man, his courage is the reason why I included
He inspired
him.
us, yeah.
Yeah.
His courage to come here without any family support. He came here on his own.
No family support, no friends. He's made friends since he's been here.
He was just tired of the corruption, he said, in Mexico.
Yep.
And he wanted to be an American, so he just came here and did it.
Yep.
And he's doing it the right way.
He's doing it, yeah. And he's, oh man, he was so polite. Oh my goodness, just a polite young man.
He had raised with manners.
Oh yeah, just a great. And if you're listening, oh my goodness, connect with us.
Yes, you're
Send
one of
us
the
a
reasons
message.
that we wanted to start connecting with people.
To hear from you, yes. So of course I have to include him because, like I said, his courage just really inspired me, and I think inspired us to have the courage to actually start the podcast.
Right, he's another reason, yeah.
So
I can see him being there. That makes sense.
Yeah, so those are our two main inspirations, I think. That's why I included those with the logos. But then we got our pets. If you'll
That's
notice,
really cool.
Yeah, there's a puppy dog and a snake. So
What's cool is because this app, we can provide 4 different types of services with one app through Uber.
Yes, and we never know what we're going to pick up. We can pick up people with pets, packages, or food. And
when we talk about people with pets, we kind of get excited when we see a pet because we love animals.
We do. And we've already had 5 dogs and 1 cat and 1 snake.
That was really cool. We had a python that was having babies and we were trying to rush it to the animal hospital. So we're
In
like
the
the
back
animal,
seat.
we're like the vet ambulance.
Right.
But
And we're
then
like,
that snake ended up having babies in our back seat.
in the backseat. He was at least in a box.
And when people hear this, they start kind of getting wide-eyed, and
yeah.
we let them know. I'm pretty sure we got all of them.
I don't know. Then we laugh because we never had a
We've
snake.
never had a snake in our car. Thank God.
But it is so much fun telling that story
Yeah.
because we usually wait until we have a car full of young ladies and they'll squeal. I love it. It's the best.
It is fun.
So that's how come we have a snake and a puppy dog in there, because even though we've never had a snake, we sure do enjoy telling that story as if we did.
Yeah. All right,
so I
so
think
that's...
that pretty much wraps it up.
No. There's an element here that we're missing. We haven't
Really?
talked about. Yeah, if you look really close behind that young man from Mexico, there's a couple of feet sticking up in the air. What's that all about?
Well, let's just say some stories we're going to keep to ourselves. How about
Yeah,
that?
that's probably pretty wise. We should probably save that story for one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah.
Only tell that story in person.
Yeah.
So, there's a reason to connect with us.
Yep.
Comment below.
You want to hear that story? Let us know. Send us a message.
It's pretty funny, actually.
It is. It's a good story.
It's a fun little element to add. I get it.
Yep.
Once you hear the story, you'll get it too.
Yep.
All right.
So,
So.
we ready?
Oh
Are
no,
we ready?
no,
Are we
calm
ready?
down. Okay.
Okay.
We're finished with the logo.
Okay.
It's time to move on to some adventures, but
Adventures.
we're gonna wait for this big, huge story. Still, we're gonna wait till the end. We've got a few other adventures I'd like to share with everybody.
Okay.
We've got some really cool things that have happened to us since we last broadcast.
That has been.
In fact, almost every ride we could have an episode on every ride probably, because we have a lot of awesome people that get in our car.
Mm-hmm.
But some specific ones that I think most people would find interesting, or a lot of people. For instance, we had 4 professional athletes pile in our car for a ride.
We did. They were professional Scrabble players.
Well, that's what they tried to tell you.
Yes, they were not professional Scrabble players.
They were fun guys.
They were a bunch of characters, is what they were.
They're actually from the Kansas City Mavericks hockey team.
Yes.
Go Mavericks! I've got one of their
Go
hats
Mavericks.
on today.
And I told them there were 4 of them. I said, "You boys are certainly good." Or how
Too-
can I say?
Too good looking to be hockey players.
You boys are too good looking to be hockey players, because they were good looking young men. And then one of them in the back just starts pulling out his teeth like, "No, I'm not. Look at me."
That's good enough proof, right?
Yep, you're a hockey player. I saw all of your teeth individually.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
They were.
They
characters.
asked. We were actually embarrassed because they asked us if we were fans, and I mean we're hometown people. We'd love to support our local teams, but to be honest, we had never been to a Kansas City Mavericks game.
And he was all sad. "Oh, you don't like the Kansas City Mavericks, but you like the Chiefs." I was like, "Oh, sweetie, it's not just the Mavericks. We just don't like hockey."
Right.
But to be fair, we gave it a try.
Yep. We promised them before they left our car, that we would go to their next home game. We'd
Mhm.
hold up a sign saying we were your Uber drivers.
And we did.
We did all that. The only one we recognized was the one we spoke with the most. That was number 10.
Yeah.
The other guys, they said they were number 24 or number 27. We're not.
We're not sure on that one.
And then 32 and 34, but we couldn't really. 10's the only one that went by and we recognized for sure. Yep, that's the guy.
That's definitely the guy.
But we promised him we would go.
Mhm.
We did.
We did.
We gave him all the support we could.
Yep.
And actually, we had a lot of fun, even though we don't know anything about hockey.
Nothing about hockey.
Didn't understand why they stopped the game here and there.
They would start over there, and then they'd stop and start over there.
Right. We don't get it.
I don't
But
know
it was
why.
fun, especially the fights.
Yeah, they would just start fighting for no particular reason. It was.
That's the fun part about hockey.
Yep, I guess so. And trying to keep up with that little puck, it was just like, oh, there, oh, there, oh. Yeah, that was fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
If you're in the area, it's a really inexpensive way to spend your time, and it was really fun.
Highly recommend
We'll go back for sure.
100%.
100%.
100%. So,
All right. So that's one adventure we've had.
yes. So, are we ready? Are we
No?
ready?
Well, I mean, we can give a little teaser, kind of. We had a little bit of validation.
Yep, we
We
did.
had- We've been kind of questioning as we start this, like, God, is this really what we're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a couple of old fogies like us should be doing this type of service.
Right.
And
Picking
we
up
got some
strangers.
validation when we picked up young lady from Zone 6 Fitness.
Yes, we sure did. That was a really good visit. So we pick up this young lady at Zone 6 Fitness, and first, we asked her, "Do you work there?" And of course she does. And but then she proceeds to tell us about her weight loss journey. And several times, as she's telling us her story, she gives credit to God for all of her.
It opens the door for
all of her
Mawmaw and Pawpaw.
success. Right, exactly. We were like, oh yeah, we got someone
So
here.
we're like, hey, we're Christians too. We love to connect with people in that way and be that type of support for folks.
Right, and of course I had recently gone through my own weight loss journey at the same time of having my own journey finding the Lord. So I really connected with this young lady like instantly.
They really related.
Oh yeah, completely. I, kind of shared some of the stuff that I went through and some of the things to kind of help keep her from getting down when it gets to that point when you're like at a lull, But I really enjoyed visiting with this young lady because one of the things before she was getting out, of course, we
were
gave
handing
her,
out cards that day.
we were handing out cards that day, and we told her all about Catch Rides, Mawmaw and Pawpaw, how we want to stay connected.
Right.
And one of the
we
things,
asked her to please keep in touch with us.
Yeah,
we want to know about your progress.
Yeah, let us know how you're doing.
Not just with your weight loss, but with your journey spiritually.
Right, and she was like, "Wow, no one's ever even asked me how I'm doing with my journey." I was like, "Well, that's sad." And then she was like, "And I really don't have that many Christian friends."
So she was like, "Thank you so much."
Yeah, exactly.
We were like,
she
"Wow,
was
thank you."
Yes, I was like, "Thank you, Lord." That was exactly what we wanted.
That was kind of the validation we needed.
That was exactly the validation we were looking for. We were like, "Is this what we're supposed to do?" And God said, "Yes."
here's a person to demonstrate that.
Exactly, and it gets even better. So, believe it or not, later on that day, she actually reached out to us and sent us a message on Facebook Messenger. It wasn't public, blasted on the wall.
Right.
It was a private.
No need for that.
Right, it was a private message, and oh my goodness, I just about.
We were like, that's what we want to do.
Yes.
That's what we feel like we're here to do.
Yes, and
that was great for her to do that.
Oh my goodness, I made my heart filled with joy. Oh, I was just tickled pink, and we've stayed connected since.
Right, and she was the first one to actually get connected with
Mawmaw
and Pawpaw
through our card, our Facebook page,
so it's like,
and everything.
yes, it's working. We're getting what we wanted.
This is exactly what we want to do, or this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So we not only connected with her and those young Mavericks players.
Right.
We had some really young men. Well, actually, these were boys. These were really boys.
These were actual real boys. Like
the oldest one was 14. I think they were from 10 to 14.
10 to 14.
3 of them by themselves got in our car.
Boys. Just babies.
First thing Penny said is, "Does your mom know where you are?"
Yes, I did. I was like, making sure. Does she know you're in a car with strangers?
Yeah, maybe we're old fashioned or something. We thought, man, this is weird. You're not supposed to get in a car with strangers, and we had candy in the back seat.
Yes,
you're not supposed to take strangers candy either.
Yes, I did. I was like, so I know you're not supposed to talk to strangers, and you can't get much stranger than this.
Right.
I said, and I know you're not supposed to take candy from a stranger, but there's candy back there.
Right.
And they took some.
Yeah. It turns out we were actually taking. One of them had a brother who plays semi-pro soccer, and we were taking them to that game.
Yes, they were going to have a good old time.
And they gave us some validation about how cool we were.
Yes, they told us that we were 100%
100%.
100%.
Did you hear that? 100%.
Hip. Yep. And that's coming from the youngest generation we could possibly get.
Exactly.
That's pretty good validation right there, I think. Yeah.
And although we were kind of freaked out about them being by themselves, turns out maybe it's more of a difference in our culture. We're a couple of country bumpkins, taught not to get in a stranger's car,
Right.
and we thought it was strange that these young men in the inner city were getting in a stranger's car.
With no problem.
But we're actually in the middle of rewatching the Different Strokes episode.
That's true.
Television series, if you remember that.
Yep. Those boys took a taxi everywhere.
Right. Yeah. If you don't know the story, it's set in New York City, and 2 of the main characters are young boys, and they take taxis by themselves all the time and act like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So it was actually that next day, I think we watched an episode and we thought, oh, maybe it's us. Maybe it's not so strange to have,
to have
these young kids in your car. So.
Yeah. But even
it's cool that we were able to get connected.
yeah, that connection with them. So it even gets better. Not only did they validate that we were hip, I mean, let's not forget about that, 100% hip. The best thing that they could have ever said, though, is when they got out, one of the boys said, "Can we have you as our Uber driver every time?" And of course, Mawmaw over here, I'm like, "Yes, just call Mawmaw," you know. But I couldn't say that because you can't request.
Yeah, we don't know. If we
Uber.
can, we don't know how to do
Yeah,
it.
we don't know how. But,
That's what we told them.
man.
We don't think it's possible. We don't know. Wish we could.
But what a feeling that was.
Yeah, that they wanted to.
Those 3 young boys would have Mawmaw and Pawpaw and pick them up. I loved
That'd
it.
be cool.
That was pretty awesome. That was. So, okay, are we ready?
Oh, hold on. Okay, let me tell them one more story.
Okay.
One more story before we get to our super huge, gigantic story.
Big story. Okay, go.
All right. So we had one young man we picked up.
And then. Oh, you're not done?
Wow.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'm ready. Okay, go.
Let me tell you about this young man who works for a veteran service organization. He's a counselor for an organization called Carry the Load, and you can find him at carrytheload.org.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of this company before, but they're really cool. They got a cool mission. I went to and researched them a little bit. Turns out they were started by 2 Navy vets, 2 Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And I guess they started just wanting to bring back the realization what the true meaning of Memorial Day is. But then they, I guess it's blown up because they do all kinds of stuff now, and they're on their website they have a mission statement now that includes how they're trying to bring all Americans together to participate in honoring our nation's heroes every day, not just Memorial Day.
That's awesome.
So that's a really cool organization. Please check them out, carrytheload.org. We'll have a link down in the description.
Yep. Yeah, that was a really nice young man that we met through that organization.
Yeah.
He was a really, really neat guy. I'm glad we met him.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a benefit to pass on to other veterans.
As a veteran and as the spouse of a veteran who volunteers with Team Fidelis, a veteran service organization,
right?
It was really near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
So please support them all any way you can. Check them out. Carrytheload.org.
Yep. Okay. Are you ready?
All right. We can. Now it's time for our super huge, gigantic news.
Right.
And go.
Okay, so first of all, if you remember, back in our first episode, we made the comment that the whole reason we wanted to start all this was to stay connected. Remember that theme, staying connected? I mean, all the kinds of people we would love to stay connected with, like the boy from Mexico, and I mentioned a pregnant lady, and of course Nancy, and the 3 boys that we've had. So staying connected, key words right here, right? So now keep in mind, we are driving around passing out our business cards, okay? And I look over at Charlie and I say, Charlie, wouldn't it be amazing if we started picking up some of our past riders? The ones that we started this for, the whole reason we started this, wouldn't that just be phenomenal? And you'll never guess what happened. So our phone goes off, right? Bing! We accept the ride. No big deal. We start check, going down, pick up the young girl. You'll never guess it. Guess what? It was one of our last riders! And it was the pregnant one that we spoke of in episode 1.
We actually picked her up, her and her husband, from a doctor's appointment.
Oh,
she was at a baby doctor's appointment.
Yes, it was
just
so
had
amazing.
sonogram pictures.
Yes, when she got in the car, I flipped out. I was like, you will not believe this. We were literally just talking about you. Literally. Just before we picked her up, I said, how amazing would it be for us to pick up a past rider? And boom, we pick up a past rider, and boom, it's the pregnant one, the one I want to see baby pictures of. that was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. It actually full circle came to.
Yeah.
Oh, but it gets even better. Guess what? No, that's not even the end.
Remember, you wanted to see baby pictures.
I did. I wanted to see baby pictures. So we gave her the card. Of course, we told her all about, Catch a Ride with Mawmaw and Pawpaw.
Told her about how she was an inspiration.
Yes, we told her about how she's been spoken of in episode number 1. So if you missed it, go watch it. And then, after she got home, she reached out and connected with us. Oh my goodness, it was the most...
Not only did she connect with us.
Yes, she tried to send us pictures of the sonogram. Oh my goodness, it was so amazing. I was like, wow, that is just, thank you, Lord. There is no better
validation.
Validation, yes. You can't get more clear than that. I was like, point blank, you know?
It was literally an answer to prayer. We've been kind of struggling with this whole idea. Are we really supposed to be doing this? You know, this
Right.
essentially a ministry. Are we really supposed to? Are we where you want us to be?
Right. And we kept doubting and kept questioning, and we wanted more proof.
Even after we had the young lady from Zone 6.
We were like, yeah, that was pretty neat, but
Are you sure, Lord?
Are you sure this is what you want us to do? And he's like, let me show you.
Right. It kind of reminded me of the story of Gideon.
Oh,
in the
yes.
Bible. Because you know, a lot of times people think that you know, as Christians we just have a blind faith, that God expects us just to believe. How dare you question Him?
Right.
Well, actually, there's all kinds of evidence throughout the Bible of people asking for a sign.
That's true.
And Gideon's a good example. Let me share the story with you real quick. Bible study with Pawpaw time. And I'm just going to, real quick, just the story about Gideon questioning God. Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hands, as you have promised." Let me back up. This is from Gideon, or this is from Judges, the book of Judges in the Old Testament, chapter 6, starting with verse 36. Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have promised, look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece, and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you said." And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next day. He squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew, a bowl full of water. That's not where it ends. That's like our experience with the Zone 6 fitness girl.
Yep.
But then we ask for even more because we're hard-headed, just like Gideon. Gideon said to God after that, "Do not be angry with me. Let me make just one more request. Allow me one more test with the fleece. This time make the fleece dry and the ground covered with dew." That night God did so. Only the fleece was dry. All the ground was covered with dew. And that was our moment with the pregnant lady.
Yes.
And that was more. You couldn't be more clear, just like Gideon there. And keep that in mind. I've struggled with that in the past. Like, who am I to question God?
Right.
I'm not questioning what God's will is. I'm asking Him to please reveal it to me more clearly.
He's
And I don't know
happy
how
to do
much
so.
more clearly we could have
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
it. And that was
couldn't
amazing.
be even more clear.
Right.
It was awesome. I loved it. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Ah,
So every time one of you reaches out to us, every time you
Makes
connect
us-
with us, it's like further validation. It's like, okay, God. You know, every time we doubt, every time we get in a lull or feel like maybe we're not supposed to be doing this, something like this happens to us, and
Yeah.
we really appreciate it.
yes. We
So
really
please
do.
reach out.
Yes, connect with us. We love to hear from you.
Yes, please reach out to us through Facebook,
Yeah.
our email. All that information will be in the description below.
We have all of our links. Yeah. And if you don't want to do it publicly, there's private.
Right.
You know, the messenger on Facebook, or like he said, our email
Mm-hmm.
is another good one. So you don't have to, be publicly blasting things.
But feel free to be public about it too.
Yeah.
If you got any questions or concerns that maybe others want to know, blast it on Facebook. Comment on YouTube video if you're watching it.
Yeah.
However you want to connect with us, we love it every time.
Yes.
And we're going to do our best. As big as this gets, we're going to do our best to stay connected with you.
Yes. And
So-
we can't wait to hear from you.
Yes, please continue to do so. And
And of course, if you're listening on podcast every Tuesday,
every Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
yep, you'll be able to find us on your podcast platforms.
So hopefully we can ride with you to work on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that's pretty much all I got for today. How about you?
Yeah, I
We've
think
kind
we
of let
could.
the cat out of the bag. The huge news
Yes,
is out there.
the biggest news.
And you know how huge it is to us for you all to connect with us. Please keep it up.
Yep.
And in the meantime, we'll catch you next week for another ride with Mawmaw and Pawpaw.
We'll be there to pick you up.